Welcome everyone to 7 Minutes or Less, your one-stop commentary shop to the shows you love and want to get into. Here I'll be talking about Altered Carbon Season 1. No spoilers, even though this is a relatively late review, I am still looking to help you get an idea for this show. Promote it for what it is, because from what I understand, a lot of people have yet to see it. So this will be just, a simple review for you. Altered Carbon is a show on Netflix with 10 episodes, and this show invites you in a dystopian world set 350 years in the future. Alien tech called a cortical stack that is a storage device for people in what they call sleeves, physical humans or synthetic bodies that can transfer a person's memories to any body that can take an accepted stack. We follow a man named Takeshi Kovacs, whose sleeve was terminated 250 years prior and awakens in a body, not his own, in that said time later, and is asked to solve a murder of one of the wealthiest men in the settled world, Lawrence Bancroft. Already labeled as an unsolvable murder, Kovacs takes at least the first episode to decide if he wants to take the case. In the meantime, we have a few plot threads going on at once with a lot of hefty expository dialogue establishing the history of the world, the way the world works with these stacks, who's rich, who's poor, and what kind of world this is beyond the setting of Dystopian. This is a fascinating tale of a world you're technically invited into that you should have no business wanting to be a part of, and yet I found myself oddly entranced into it. This is an excellently made show. Interesting set pieces. The world looks dark and grungy almost everywhere you go. There are places that are not terrible, and it shows off its beauty in many different ways, and it's definitely appealing to the eye. What I love about this show, which is a lot of things, is the fact that they take the history of the world and make it a character in of itself. Everywhere you go, there is stories to be told, history to be seen, people that fill up the place with so much. It kind of reminded me a lot of Blade Runner and 2049. Everything is just so rich in detail. The characters, while not always appealing in ethics and moral judgment, have stories to tell of their own and are excellently portrayed by the people who are acting as these said counterparts. Joel Kinnaman is excellent in the role as Takeshi Kovacs. James Purefoy is always a welcome sight as he portrays the wealthiest man with a suave touch. The rest, of course, do a real great job and do justice as supporting characters that have connected histories and parts to play as this story unfolds. The story itself, well, let's just say with excellent dialogue and spot-on performances through action, duly noting everyone's physicality, and I mean that in the highest sense of the word, the story can get extremely involving. It's one of those you really need to be paying attention, otherwise the next detail will be focused on and you will miss something. Why are they focusing on this? What does this have to do with anything? Can someone please explain to me why this character is important? While I can tell you the main characters definitely are Kristen, Ortega, and Kovacs, the secondary plots and motivations and the characters that really make this story rich are important as well. And it's really hard for me to say if any bit of this story brought the overall tone and the story down. As I said before, there are a few threads wrapped up around this story. As you write it all out, things start to make sense. But the biggest thing I think one may have a problem with is what content is portrayed in this show. Being a show on Netflix, you wouldn't think that this would be as risky as it is, but Altered Carbon is probably the most violent you'll see until the next risk-taking show hit on Netflix. This is a smart murder mystery in the future full of revenge, violence, gore, conspiracy, nudity on both men and women fronts, and it has no problem showing you. This could possibly be a flaw for you or a problematic watchability factor if you have kids, parents that don't approve of that sort of stuff. Just be careful. Beyond that, there is definitely an entertaining story that is highly connected to the history of the world it conveys to you. To me, the concept is fascinating and really carries throughout these 10 episodes. Everything is in your face, reminding you of the world you're in. Not everything is doom and gloom, as humanity and emotions are definitely in the show, adding just a twist of humor here and in there, keeping it from being pretentious. One character that I thought was an absolute delight to watch was Edgar Poe, an AI running a hotel whom Kovacs decides to stay at. Poe is definitely one of my favorite characters in this show, and if they ever make a season 2, I hope to God he comes back. Apart from him, the next character I found really interesting was Kristen Ortega. Her character unfolds in this story quite well with motivations deeply personal to her. And if the writing were any different, I could see this story being about her more than Kovacs. Extremely well done, and I really like the actress too. She knocked it out of the park. In the end, this is an interesting move on Netflix's part to release such a show like this. I've heard many people really enjoy it, and others whom I believe never knew much about it. The murder mystery is intriguing, its payoff satisfying. The supporting characters are definitely entertaining, insanely so, and well done with their stories and motives within the world. The world is extensive and in-depth, and there are some negatives I should probably tackle, and that's the content for sure. Nudity and excessive violence could be a turnoff. Women and men both used as tools, and if you're looking as a woman to see a woman character have a fair shot at being used more than a sex object, this may not be the show for you. It can be a little slow in some parts, but hardly time for that seeing how there are 10 episodes in this big story. So there's definitely a decent wrap up, leaving a little room for more. I really enjoyed Altered Carbon from frame 1 down to its last second. For that, I'm gonna give Altered Carbon an A-. I pass this off to you. What did you guys think of Altered Carbon? Did you love it? Like it? Hate it? Did this review turn you on to the possibility of watching it? For whatever reason, I'd love to know. Comment below and let's talk. Thank you all so much for watching. Here on my channel, I'll review TV shows in 7 minutes or less, recommending and recapping, and universe reviews, talking about the movies and TV shows that make up a universe. If you enjoyed what you have seen here and want to see more, please subscribe and I'll get you more videos in the future.